It's week 2. It's a long season. And here's week 2 of the Mike's Pick'ems Challenge. We are 12 hours removed from Mike, already going 0-1 in this Pick'ems Challenge. What is up, everyone? Welcome to the MJT Football Channel. We told you every week we're going to be giving our picks. We're going to be competing against each other, and we're going to be competing against all of you. And we're here to deliver on that promise for week 2. You see our records are on the screen, how we did last week. Please let us know if you're here in the live chat how you did last week. Tony, Joe, how are you guys doing? Tony? I'm trying to knock salt off my tongue, but it's getting hard. It's getting harder with the day. I don't know why.
It's a tough morning, obviously, after that game. But I'm just holding out hope for anything that there's just positive news on Herbert, right? That it's just a bad bruise. It's something that can be treated and we can move forward. I'm trying to take solace and comfort and joy in the fact that I destroyed you two in the picks last week. But it is not enough to put a smile on my face because I am anxiously waiting for news on this young man behind me.
Joe, how are you doing? Tony, you did destroy us last week. Those games were all like razor.
Yeah. Oh, he destroyed us.
It could have flipped the other direction, but you got us last week, Tony.
Don't let him put you down, Tony. You destroyed us. You tore it up, Tony.
Patrick?
No, last night's game was everything we thought it was going to be. A good division opponents going at each other. Just didn't turn out the way you guys wanted it to. But hey, what a great game for Thursday night football. That's 2 Thursday night football. Or at least last week was boring as hell. This week was at least exciting. But no, nobody wants to see a young guy like Justin Herbert go down. So we're all waiting. As of right now, they said the negative, so it's good for the Charger fans. But how long is he going to be out? If he's going to be out. But hey, I'm going to tell you this, and I texted you guys this last night. That last drive that he was in, when he had to pull up, he couldn't run. But that laser that he threw, like the next play, you got to give him credit on that. Even if you're a Charger hater, you got to be like, damn, Herbert, you put it in there.
That's what I've been trying to combat in the comment sections this morning is like all these fans are in here showing disrespect, and Raiders fans, come on, man. It was 3 days ago still. Don't think I forgot just because we took an L last night to the Chiefs. But I'm trying to explain, like, at least, Herbert earned respect and he showed another level of willpower that we haven't seen out of him yet. So that's the positive out of that situation.
He earned league-wide respect and team respect. Mm-hmm. Just every fan respect everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Should we put that game on the screen? Joe, you took the Chiefs to win, right?
Yes, sir.
So you're 1-0 on us right now this week already to open up.
My thing was the Chargers spent all offseason trying to beat one team, and that was the Raiders. And you got that in week 1. You forgot about the division champions, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Not me. Never did I ever give that any credence whatsoever. It's always been the Chiefs. It'll be the Chiefs until they are dethroned, and it will be the Chargers. And defense and Herbert will reign supreme this year.
So especially with us, Joe, being Chargers fans, we're taking the Chargers no matter what, probably every week all season long. This was a good one for you to take the Chiefs. This is a good move by you. Tough game on the road, banged up, going into Arrowhead. It was a tall mountain to climb, and we almost climbed it. Won a little bit of self-destruct mode there at the end.
Harrison loves you, Mike.
I love you too, Harrison. Harrison, who did you take, the Chargers or the Chiefs?
I'm going to tell you guys right now. There's only one. I almost took the Chargers, and I was right there with the Chargers all week until my son Jake wanted to make his pick'em videos. And it pissed me off so much that he said, bolt up, Charger fans. I said, all right, Jake, get on out of here because we're going with the Chiefs.
Play it. Play the clip.
I don't have it
Jake's
loaded up.
on one
if I had
too.
it loaded up, I would.
Jake's 0-1 as well.
He's 0-1 in his pick'ems, but he's 1-0 in life just for shouting bolt up.
Yeah, one step closer to my sabotage work.
Yeah, I was like, we're actually gonna put that on video, Jake, and he was like, yeah. Look,
Yeah.
my wife's firing Jake right now. She said, Jake is fired.
I can hear him in my head, like just straight facing you too. Like, yeah, we're putting it in.
If I had the clip, I'd show you guys. You guys would be all proud of it. But that's I was like my tipping point. That's why, because I was like the AFC matchup. Both of these, it could go either way. I saw what the Chargers were in person last week, and I was like, how good are the Chiefs? They played Arizona, who's a team that I'm down on, right? Because I'm like, fade the Cardinals all the time. And I was like, no, Jake, no. Not in this household.
Well, all right. Yeah, Joe, you're up 1-0 in this game. There's not really a prediction to be made. Let's head to New York, where the Giants are hosting the Carolina Panthers. We got Baker Mayfield versus Daniel Jones. A little flashback to that draft. The Giants coming off of a big upset last week. The Panthers lost, obviously, on the big field goal by the Browns' new kicker. Tony, what are your thoughts on this game? I think this is one of the interesting games this week because it's kind of two teams that maybe we don't expect season-long success out of, but maybe they could have a great game against each other here in week 2.
So in rewatching the Giants game, that is all Titans. That's Titans magic right there. The beauty of them is that they play down to their opponents so many times. They did it last year. Remember the Titans started off terrible against Arizona, and then they started beating the Bills and the Chiefs and everybody. Like, they rise to the occasion at most points. And I think this week the Panthers just have more talent. They're still healthy. They still have CMC. So I'm expecting a big game from him, from DJ Moore to bounce back. And then we saw the resurgence of Robbie Anderson. I thought the corners played actually pretty nice. It's tough to evaluate them against Jacoby Brissett, but I just think the Giants had their moment. Fans will be riled up, but this is a Carolina win here, 26-20 type of game.
I agree with you on that one, Tony. Joe, what are you thinking?
Well, with the Giants and Danny Dimes, did you not go back and rewatch it, Tony? Danny Dimes missed 0% of the throws that he was throwing. The targets that he was throwing at, he threw 100%. That doesn't mean that he went, 5 of 5 or whatever. That means whenever he threw it, that target that he was throwing at, that's what he intended to. 100% Danny Dimes on it. Saquon Barkley's back. Carolina lost to Jacoby Brissett and the Cleveland Browns. Come on. New York Giants making waves, Tony.
I think that Danny Dimes will 100% throw 2 interceptions in this game. 2, not 1.
And win. It doesn't matter.
I like this Carolina secondary. They got their hands on a few balls against Cleveland that could have changed that game. It just didn't go their way. They didn't come down with the interception. I'm with Tony. I think the Panthers are a more talented team in this stage of the season. We'll see how injuries play out for Carolina throughout the year. I like them better at just about every spot on the field. Only part where there's a question is maybe coaching. And CMC versus this Giants defense, I know they just handled Derrick Henry pretty well, but it's pretty straightforward. It's just man up, hit Derrick Henry, beat the O-line. That's not the way it is with CMC. CMC can do so much more in the passing game, and I think that's going to be the difference in here. It's going to be good, though.
One last tidbit on that. The Browns' pass rush might be slightly better than the Giants. Just a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. Kayvon Thibodeau set to make his debut, but yeah, just a little bit better.
The Myles Garrett.
Give or take, yeah.
You guys not see Dable dancing in the locker room?
That's going to make a difference in this one for sure. Also, guys, forgot to say, if you guys want to join the Mike's Pick'ems Challenge, it's easy. It's completely free. I'm giving away a jersey to the winner each week. The link is in the description. We have, I think, 600 entries this week, so hop in there, submit your entries, get in the competition. It's a heated one. If you make a fake email and you do it twice, I can't stop you also, by the way.
I'm not telling you to do that, but
let's go to Pittsburgh. We got another good one. And this is like a battle of the legendary head coaches, battle of two defensive-minded teams, I guess you could say, with the New England Patriots traveling on the road to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh impressed us enough. Look at all three of us on the Pittsburgh side. But why do you think, Tony, that Pittsburgh's taking this one?
The back spasms, the back issues of Mac Jones. He needed every rep this week, in my opinion, to help get things right. And he was unable to be like a full participant in some of the injury reports that I was reading. I'm siding with the Steelers even without Watt. I think the defense is good enough to keep this game ugly. Najee Harris is off the injury report. That will help them out there. It's just one of those games where it's like, it's hard to imagine the Patriots being 0-2, but it doesn't look like it's going to come together this early in the season. So I'm going to go with Mike Tomlin, a run game, and a solid defense.
Joe, what are you thinking here? I know you're a big Tomlin and Steelers fan usually.
What did I say last week? I said the Patriots are one of the worst teams in the league, Tony. One of the worst teams in the league. The Belichick magic is going to run out, and it finally has. They're not looking good. Like you said, Mac Jones needs to be on there. Steelers didn't impress me as much as the Patriots suck, right? As bad as the Patriots played last week. Steelers came out and played, but they got they're banged up. It just came out this morning that Najee Harris is good to go. He's off the injury report. He's going to play. I think the Steelers are just better coached. They don't have, I'm not going to say they have better talent. They talent-wise, they're good, but they're not great, especially with TJ Watt not going to play this week. But I mean, how many times are you going to pick off Joe Burrow 4 times and sack him 7 times? Was that more of the Bengals starting off slow? But I'm going with the Steelers because I just don't believe in the Patriots, and the Patriots' magic is done.
I feel like everybody sacks the Bengals 9 times.
I know, huh? The Patriots defense actually had a good game last week. If you go and look at it for who they were facing, all the track stars that are on that team, they let like 1 or 2 plays leak through, and that was just the difference because the offense is lacking in talent playing against a good defense in Miami's defense. But yeah, I think that the Steelers are a little bit better of a football team. I think that the Steelers maybe are riding a little bit higher right now than the Patriots, and they're playing at home. Even without TJ Watt, I read a stat that the Steelers have led the league or tied for the lead in the league in sacks over like the last 7 years or something crazy. It's just going to keep it going. And Mike Tomlin's going to keep sending people at quarterbacks, young quarterbacks like Mac Jones, who is also banged up already. So I'm going with Pittsburgh at home in this one. I feel pretty confident. I do think it'll be a low-scoring, close game, though. Maybe a Boswell game-winning kick again. So
Dable danced with this team in the locker room. Mike Tomlin bought all of them black Air Force Ones, right? We got a trend going right now of teams that are winning.
I was this close to taking Pittsburgh last week. I just was scared. I
think Tony was the only one that took Pittsburgh last week.
Feeling a little fear.
Oh, that's how you get to be 11-4-1.
So clean sweep here with Pittsburgh.
Let's go to New Orleans. We got another good one. I mean, the NFL schedule makers really did us good in these first 2 weeks. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road against the New Orleans Saints. Both teams coming off of wins last week. This is a big Week 2 division matchup. A driver's seat in the NFC South, as I was calling it for the Chiefs-Chargers game, is on the line. Tony, you got the Saints taking it. What are you thinking here?
I'm thinking that the Bucs are in disarray injury-wise. Like every wide receiver's on the injury report. Brady didn't look extremely impressive in the first week, and I know it was just week 1. But I'm going to take at home the Saints defense to continue to cause havoc. I forget the stat, but it's like Marshawn Lattimore matched up against Mike Evans, like in the last 3 games or whatever. He's held him to like 2 catches max in the game. So like, I like that matchup there, but then who's he got? Is Julio staying healthy the whole game? I mean, I want him to, but I don't know if that's going to happen. And then Lenny Fournette's creeping up on stuff. Like you got to rely on a lot on a rookie running back. So I'm going to take the Saints defense at home, and Winston will be munching some W's after this game. It is all of it. Up. Joe, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm taking the Saints, and I'm not a big Saints guy, but like you said, Tampa Bay is banged up. They didn't look as good as I thought they were going to come out last week with Tom Brady, and they've been the bugaboo of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? They've been knocking them off. So I'll go with the Saints here. I don't know, Tony. And Alvin Kamara might not play. He's banged up with those ribs. He was not spotted at practice again today. So he might not be playing, but it won't stop him. Mark Ingram looked good. He looked fresh, ready to go. So I'll take the Saints in this win.
I think the Saints are a logical answer, and I think that this game probably should lean the Saints as far as favorites. I just did not like the way they played for 3 quarters. I feel like if you play like that for 3 quarters, against Tom Brady's and this Buccaneers team, they're going to run away with the game. They're not going to let you stay within striking distance. But if Jameis Winston comes out and he's earned maybe a little bit more trust and they open him up the whole game like that, I'd probably say the Saints are going to win. But I'm going to say that they have a rough start again. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers get out to a lead, and we see a failed comeback attempt, and Brady hangs on and gets out of there, I think, maybe with his first win against the Saints in New Orleans since joining the Buccaneers. I don't know. Has he beaten them yet there? I don't think so. He beat them on the road in the playoffs, but not in the regular season.
He's 0 for 4 in the regular season. And 0, I strung my words together, but I'm saying Leonard Fournette has a hamstring, comma.
Here comes
the rookie might need to be a big part of the game, Rachaad White. So I'll be sure to punctuate a little bit better in my sentences so there's no confusion.
And he's already running behind a hurt O-line. Like, it's going to come down to how well can Lattimore and the Saints secondary stick Julio Jones and Mike Evans, I think. We shall see. But this is the picks here. We got 2 on the Saints. I'm the lone soldier on the Buccaneers. I'm either falling farther behind in this competition or catching up with this one. Let's go to Cleveland, where the Cleveland Browns, coming off a victory against the Panthers, are hosting Joe Flacco and the New York Jets. If the Jets change their starting quarterback and Mike White is playing in this game, I will be changing my pick. But Tony, Cleveland.
Cleveland's, it's going to be the same thing as we saw in the first, like them dealing with the Ravens. It's just another team that has superiority talent-wise. And I think we'll see it again this weekend where Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, whoever else they have as the third running back. I don't even know if Dearness Johnson played. I don't even know if he dressed for last week, but if he gets in there, he'll break off a 50-yard run. There's a lot of slander going on about Jacoby Brissett out there, and he's fine for this team. You can win games if your defense is healthy, which it was last week, and why I predicted them to win, and you can run the football. Now, can you win a Super Bowl like that in the modern era? I don't know, but you can win games. They're going to win this one. They'll be 2-0, and it'll be basically because of schedule, not because of talent, not because they're great.
Yeah, stopping the Browns' passing game seems like an easy task, but the run game seems like an impossible task. Joe, you're on Cleveland as well?
Yeah, when I was making this graphic, I wanted to switch, and I was like, I'm going to go with the Jets. But I was like, I already put my videos out that I'm going with the Cleveland Browns, so I'm sticking with the Cleveland Browns. But I have a sneaky suspicion that the Jets are going to come out and win this game, but I'm still going to a little bit ride with Cleveland. I don't think it's going to be a blowout like Harrison just said, 31-9. He's going with Cleveland 31-9. I think it's going to be a closer game than people think, and the Jets are going to show a little bit of life in this game. But I'll stay with Cleveland, but I want to lean towards the Jets.
I mean, it comes down to, can the Jets get in the end zone? Last week, their offense actually moved the ball in the Ravens' defense decently, but once it came time to buckle down in the red zone, they got shut out. They got effed up, honestly, in the red zone, turning the ball over and all kinds of problems. Like I said, if Mike White plays in this game and we got someone electric at quarterback that can run away from Myles Garrett, then I would probably be more inclined to take the Jets and try and get one on you guys here. But with Joe Flacco in there, just standing there, he's like a target for Myles Garrett to just grab, shake around a little bit, take the ball, throw him on the ground, and run the other direction.
Yeah, that's it's funny that you're cheering for Mike White. That's how the Jets season is going this far.
Well, I mean, I'm not cheering for the Browns because I actually want them to be like stinky all year, and then Deshaun Watson comes in and wastes his time at the end of the season.
I want the Jets to win the game, for the record.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Cleveland, but I want the Jets to win the game.
Yes, but I want to win this competition more than I'm going to put.
Yeah.
Let's go to Baltimore. Where we got another good matchup, in my opinion. We got the Baltimore Ravens 1-0 taking on the 1-0 Miami Dolphins. This is going to be an absolute track meet. We have some of the fastest players in the NFL on both sides of the ball playing against each other. Miami Dolphins offense, Baltimore Ravens offense, and I like to say in the secondaries of both these secondaries and linebacker cores, they got guys that can fly as well. Who do you think's winning this race? Obviously, Tony, you're picking the Ravens here. What's the storylines of this game?
The storyline is that Lamar Jackson is auditioning for whatever draft capital the Dolphins have left after the Tyreek Hill acquisition to bring him there. Could you imagine an offense that had Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, Lamar Jackson, Raheem Mostert, like 4 guys that can all run like 23 miles an hour according to whatever that sports science graphic is they throw up, the Amazon speed tracker? this game to me comes down to the fact that the Ravens are pretty healthy for the most part, at least more healthy than they were at the end of last season. And Lamar Jackson seems out there ready to let everybody know, y'all forgot that I was an MVP in this league. And I need some people to remember. And last week I threw 3 touchdown passes. This week I might have 3 rushing touchdowns. I do whatever I want. You see how big my neck is? Like, he's just out there swole right now. So I'm betting on Lamar Jackson doing big things.
Joe?
Well, I don't know if I sent you guys that Tua press conference last night. Like that, he gave his wide receivers and his targets some great advice. He can't see you. He's short. So if you want to see, if you want him to throw you the ball, you got to find him so he can see you. That's what Tua said last night. And I was like, no, we're getting away from Tua. We're getting away from the Dolphins. J.K. Dobbins is back this week. We'll see how he's going to perform. But Rashad Bateman got his touchdown last week. And like I said, I'm high on the Baltimore defense this week. I think they're able, or overall this whole year, I'm high on the Baltimore defense. And I think they're going to shut the Dolphins down. Dolphins had an easy win last week. Easy win last week. But this week, you play a real team.
Yeah, every time Lamar hits someone deep, it's going to help him for the next week's matchup. Because if you can't load the box on him, that's when he's going to start taking off. That's when he's going to start making your linebackers and secondary look crazy when he's doing spin moves and juke moves and all this stuff. So if he can keep pressing the ball down the field, he can keep hitting Rashad Bateman in stride like that and forcing defenses to respect his ability to go over the top on him, he's almost unstoppable. Because once you back off on 3rd and 6 because you're worried about him going over the top, he's picking that up with his legs with ease in his sleep. So the Dolphins have some athletes on defense. This game may be a little bit closer. I think this will be a good game. This will be a fun one to watch if you guys want to watch it. It is, I have it listed as my game of the week, I think, just for the pure, speed on both of these teams. I want to say something real quick. If I'm Lamar Jackson and I'm looking to move to Florida next offseason, I honestly would probably rather go to the offense that has, once they heal, a crazy O-line that's really good with a receiver that can help me out in jump ball situations and a possession receiver. I'm going to Tampa. They got a good defense there as well. They have draft picks still. I would go to Tampa.
I could, yeah. I mean, it's another destination for sure. I love it. I love that you went full Cartman on that Lamar Jackson's going to be like, respect my authority.
We're all on the Ravens for this one. Let's go to Detroit, where I'm sure some of you took the Lions. You both took the damn Lions. I think personally, it depends on if we see last week's Carson Wentz or last season's Carson Wentz. If he continues what he did last week, they're going to beat the Lions. The Lions aren't that good of a team. But Tony, what do you think?
So I went back and forth on this game, and I was like, are we going to get 2 good Carson Wentz games in a row?
You said no.
I bet no on this one. I think that this game is going to be one of those like sneaky shootout games. Everybody was like, Chiefs and Chargers are going to put 50 points each. No. This is the game right here that I think these two teams are both going to drop 40 spots. We're going to have entertainment, sweaty Dan Campbell, hoarse voice, asking for espresso shots going into a potential OT right here. I'm all in on watching this game. Red zone highlights for this one this weekend. It's going to be a fun one. But I'm going to take the Lions narrowly, like 38 to 35. Well, I think that was a score last week, and they were on the losing end. So I'll flip it around this week. 38-35 Lions. Get the first win of the season.
Joe, what you thinking?
You already know. I'm going with the Lions. Swift and Jared Goff. All these guys are going to put up some points. Like Tony said, it's going to be a shootout. No defense. It's going to be like a 7-on-7 drill. That's how it's going to be. It's going to be like there's no defense out there. They might as well just keep their defenses at home because these two teams are going to put up. Tony said Carson Wentz ain't going to put up another good game. He will, but it's going to be in a losing effort. Jared Goff, Carson Wentz going to show the world that they're not washed up, that they're not bad quarterbacks. They're going to put up some points. Jahan Dotson going to go for another 2 touchdowns. But St. Brown and this Detroit offense, Tony, they went against the so-called Eagles defense that was supposed to be a top 10 defense, and they put up 35 points on them. 35 points. So the Lions offense is awake. I just think it's going to be a shootout, and I'm going with the Lions because I got the Lions winning 10 games this year, and I got to get them 1 win.
Yeah, you guys know how I feel about the Lions. I'm not too high on them winning very many games this year. I'm reading right here. No Frank Ragnow, but DeAndre Swift is expected to play this weekend already. He's listed as questionable, but DeAndre Swift said at the podium that he'll play. So that's a big help for them because DeAndre Swift is starting to look like the new Alvin Kamara, as people are saying. And if he's going off again, the Lions are going to put up a bunch of points again. The thing I have with the Lions is it seems like this team needs a halftime speech to get going. You can't just suck for the whole first half of the game and expect to win very many games in the NFL. I think Washington's going to do it. If Wentz just can play a clean game, Wentz can play like he did last week. He really willed that team to victory. They weren't really like shutting the Jaguars down like they should have.
You're a Detroit hater. You're a Detroit hater. All I've learned from you is you hate Detroit. You hate Dan Campbell. You don't want to go bite kneecaps. You wouldn't make it on the line.
I don't. I want to make people juke those kneecaps out, you know?
Yeah, you don't have enough grit to play in Detroit.
Let's get on the ladder. Let's get on the ladder. Get on the ladder drills, and we'll talk about the grit later.
Bodo, what's going on? I like
Bodo's
this. Yes, similar sentiments here. Jeff Bezos was like, "Hey, we need a Kansas City win tonight. Here you go. Here's free Amazon for life to the referees."
My thing is, why would Jeff want a KC win? You think he'd want to build a second star? Mahomes is established. He's had his moments. He ain't going nowhere. Like, let's punctuate Justin Herbert and the future of Justin Herbert.
He's trying to get some Midwest shipping centers out there so that Bodo can drive his truck there and do drop-offs and pickups in Kansas City.
You called it in for the wrong team, Jeff. I'm saying it now. It's going to age poorly, Jeff. Next game, Joe. What's next? We got Indy at Jacksonville. No one's taken another Jacksonville upset. Someone told me that the Colts have lost 7 straight games to the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville. Why the would I ever take the Colts against the Jaguars in Jacksonville, Tony?
Because Matt Ryan's here. The last, I feel better with Matt Ryan, although it looked a little weak at the beginning. And I did take this when I thought that Shaquille Leonard was going to be back. I still wouldn't change it. From what I saw from Jacksonville, they're more fun. It was fantastic to see them in a football game, but they can't close. And I think that there'll be some more of that this weekend. Late, field goal from whatever kicker they signed, maybe Michael Badgley or whoever they've pulled off of somebody's practice squad. This will be a close game, but the Colts will pull it out. Late drive, Matt Ryan to Mo Alley Cox to get into field goal range.
Joe, what are you thinking here?
Yeah, I think Jonathan Taylor is going to be too much for this Jacksonville team, and the Colts, no, they're pissed off last season, right? They know that this Jaguar team is the one, just like the Chargers were against the Raiders. This is the team that cost them the playoffs last year. It cost their quarterback, right? It cost the whole team a lot of stuff. The owner's pissed off. This is the team that the owner wants you to go after, and there's going to be a lot of heads rolling, I think, if they lose to Jacksonville. Not firing, but people more pissed off. And this could, eventually cost him his job, Frank Wright, his job at the end of the season if things don't go right. Because Jacksonville is the crappiest, or has been one of the crappiest teams in the league, and they're the ones that are knocking you off from going to the playoffs. But I like Tony. They brought Matt Ryan in for a reason. And Matt Ryan's job is to beat Jacksonville. Do it and do it right. And they started off slow, yes, last week, but they bounced back against the Texans team. That is a division game. And get it again. Let's go. 2 division games in a row. They're finally going to pull this one off.
Yeah, I rocked with Jacksonville last week, I believe. And I just expected that front 7 to wreak more havoc on Washington offense than they did. Didn't quite show up defensively late, especially down the stretch of that game that I thought I was going to see. And also, Trevor Lawrence looks really improved. Like, they had a functioning offense, a fully functioning offense. There's about 5, 7, maybe even as much as 10 throws in there where it's just like, oof. That isn't quite there yet. You still have more work to do, more improving to do. I'm excited to see what Trevor Lawrence is going to be at by the middle of the season with Doug Peterson. But for this upcoming game, as long as Jonathan Taylor's rocking and is healthy and that O-line is pushing around those Jaguars D linemen and keeping that front 7 out the game, I don't know how much of a chance the Jaguars stand at slowing them down because Matt Ryan is not going to give them free gifts like Wentz did last year. So I'm going with the Colts as well. Indy.
Sweep.
Little wake-up call reference here. There we go. Oh.
Every Sunday.
Photo said just cut to it and move Jacksonville to London already.
The logistics of that. They need to get faster speed planes. so that way that you can travel there to play every weekend.
I don't want to throw us too far off track either, but in another comment, Bodo said something about Big Ben. Did anybody else see that Big Ben to the Cowboys rumor that was started on the internet?
What?
No? Okay.
That would be
Just
wild.
wondering.
I saw a Kaepernick thing, but that happens every time someone gets hurt.
Yeah. Maybe it was just a joke, just a rumor. Anyways, on to the next one.
That would be crazy. I don't even know how many pounds has Big Ben put on since the season, you think?
Oh, I can't imagine what that.
Me and Big Ben probably looking the same right now.
We got the Atlanta Falcons traveling to LA to play the LA Rams. I think the Rams are going to lock in, and that's why I'm picking them. What do you guys think? I think that this is a buzzsaw for the Falcons to run into. They've had 10 days of sulking over that Buffalo Bills loss.
This game to me is all about fantasy football. And I need Cam Akers to get a ton of garbage time run in this game, lift that stock so I could at least maybe trade him in one or two of my leagues. I don't honestly, if the Rams flop in this game, there will be legit concern on Monday morning from fans, from analysts, from everybody who had them. You cannot lay an egg at home 2 games in a row. I don't care how much fight this Falcons team played with last week. It can't happen. You got to go in there and you got to show Rams house or whatever that stupid shit is they say.
Whose house?
Rams house.
Yeah. No, I think the Rams come out and they come out hungry and they come out ready to play. I saw the Arthur Smith press conference last week, and he was talking about how everybody's hating on the Falcons and nobody gave him a chance. Then you had your chance to win because you were up by a lot and still blew the game. Like, I don't know. Arthur Smith, are we at a stage like that people are really reading everything that's on the internet? Like, these coaches are really out there. Go out there and coach your team. Don't worry about what the internet's saying about your team. Go out there and do it. But Arthur Smith, you need to get Kyle Pitts the ball. You need to figure out what's going on with that offense because you thought Damian Williams was going to be a guy. Then you put what's his name, the guy that you were high on, Algier, didn't even get to dress on Sunday. So I don't know what's going on in Atlanta, but I know that Sean McVay is pissed off and he's not happy with his team and he's going to turn around. And what a better way to beat down the Falcons this week.
Yeah, that might have been a blessing in disguise taking that L in the first week of the season because the Rams can recover. I think they will recover. And the way the 49ers have looked, I still don't believe in the Seahawks, even after beating Denver and the Cardinals, the way they looked. It still looks like the Rams are probably going to win this division. I think it starts here with a dominant win over the Falcons. The Falcons are kind of a roller coaster ride, though. They've been like this last couple years, where it's like you don't even know what Falcons team you're going to get from drive to drive. They just up and down the entire game, entire season.
Yeah, but all of this, I didn't even finish my thoughts on fantasy implications. You got to target Pitts more on one side of the football. And A-Rob, one target? Come on. I need more than that.
Yeah. I wanted to tell people, like, play A-Rob and thank me later. But I'm a little worried they put A.J. Terrell on him. And then shut them down again.
I'm going to be getting some of those celebrations where they do that shit where they're like,
yeah,
that's what I want to see. Yeah.
And to go off of what I was saying about Arthur Smith in his press conference, he even already complained about the Rams had more days off to prepare for this game. So it's like,
a lot. Yeah.
He already mentally checked out.
That's football. There's teams that play on Thursday.
Yeah, he should have been complaining about that in the schedule making in the preseason.
Arthur, or whatever. It doesn't matter. Don't worry. The first 3 days were them correcting mistakes. It was not preparing for you. Trust me. That game was ugly.
Can we get a better one, Mike? Are you ready? Whose house?
Rams house.
We tried.
Josh Allen's house.
So far, only one LA team has won there so far this year. Yeah.
So this next game, I'm already hearing the weather's going to be bad again for it. The weather's going to be 90% chance of rain. The wind is going to be up to like 20, 25 miles per hour for this game.
You know what's crazy about this game, too, is that I was targeting Trey Lance. Like, I wanted to get Trey Lance, and he didn't really fall my way in any of my drafts. I don't have him in any league. And now it's starting to look like a good decision if this is another bad weather game where he just can't get any stats in it because of it. I do think same thing with the 49ers that I have feelings about the Rams. That's why I'm picking them. But, Tony, what's your thoughts here?
I would like to congratulate the first place Seattle Seahawks. 1-0, baby. Way to go. This is another game right here. Full blown panic. If you don't find a way to win this game. And I know that this game is another one of those things where it's going to be ugly, 2017, whatever it needs to be. But it has to come out a 49ers win. A lot of people had them going back and forth. Like I was even debating Eagles, 49ers, Packers, NFC, who's going to represent in the Super Bowl. After last week, I was like, oh, man, I'm glad I avoided saying the 49ers are going to the Super Bowl. Again, only week 1, but these are the kind of games you got to win if you want to go to the Super Bowl. And also, you got to stave off the Jimmy G controversy. Because if you go to 0-2, the veterans are going to start looking around and being like, hey, Kyle, what's up? Come on, let's put Jimmy in. Let's go.
I hate with everything in me that there is a controversy. Go ahead, Joe.
Trey Lance is refreshed. He's ready to go. He got that money out. He made it rain. He's used to it now. He's like, I already made it rain. I'm used to the rain. Let's bring it on. Trey Lance and the 49ers are going to bounce back, even without Elijah Mitchell. Jeff Wilson going to get his carries. I don't know who the running back is going to be. Like in my fantasy league, I think every 49er running back got picked up this week because nobody knows exactly what they're going to do. It's Seattle. Seattle started off good. They wanted to come out and beat Russell Wilson. They had the crowd behind them. It's something that they played above their heads last week. Geno Smith's not going to play like that every single week. 49ers going to come out here hungry. 49ers beat down Seattle this week.
The 49ers didn't play great last week, but at least there was like an excuse of the rain. I don't think Seattle played that good. I think that the Denver Broncos just completely failed on those goal line drives and in the final moments of that game. They still almost came out with the victory after all of those mistakes and all of that flubbing going on in the middle of that game. So I don't even think Seattle really did that good. They kind of got lucky, honestly. I'm going with San Fran. I think that this could be a game where they kind of stamp it. I don't think it's be high scoring, but maybe they can win by 2 touchdowns still, like you're saying, Joe, like a 20-7 or 24-10 or something like that. But man, Trey Lance, you got to have a good game, man. You got to show out.
We're all just going to sit here and disrespect the great Geno Smith like this. I can't even believe I'm a part of a broadcast. The
craziest part is like the internet is like, I don't know if they're trolling or what it is, but the internet is backing Geno. Like he played some insane out of his mind game. And you go look at the stat line and it's like, this is a below average game.
Tony spent 60% of his fab money on Geno Smith this week. You want to talk about?
That's right. Geno.
I actually traded for Geno in the 32-man league because you know who had the genius idea of stacking Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb?
Ooh.
This Cowboys fan over here.
Geno
Anyways,
Smith, baby. Let's glide.
We're about to talk about the Cowboys here.
You're correct, but we're not going to get into that right now. That'd be too much to get into.
Well, the Cowboys are getting their own segment here, so let's go to Denver first. And check in on the Broncos, who are hosting the Houston Texans. And we're all three on the Broncos side. It's a Russell Wilson's home debut in front of the Denver Bronco faithful. What do you think, Tony Tucker? Broncos buckle down and they beat the undefeated Texans?
I am rooting so greatly for Davis Mills to have the game of his life, like beyond all of it. Let Pat Surtain cover Brandon Cooks, and then Nico Collins can eat. And the reemergence of O.J. Howard, who gets more integrated into this system, and Rex Burkhead revival. It's not going to happen. I don't see that in any way, shape, or form. I think the Broncos win this game massively. Like maybe there's an early touchdown from the Texans, but to play early on in Denver is really tough for teams. Your stamina's not quite ready for that third, fourth quarter. You're gassed the whole time. Broncos a little bit more acclimated to the elevation, and I think this is a pretty easy double-digit win for the Broncos.
Joe, what are you thinking here?
I would love for Houston to come out and smack the Broncos around, make the Broncos go 0-2. Nothing would be better, and for us as AFC West fans to laugh at Russell Wilson, and because the Broncos fans said all year that they were one quarterback away from winning a Super Bowl. So if they go 0-2. It would be like, is it the quarterback that was the problem? Was it the quarterback? But the Broncos in the first half of last week and the second half were two different teams. The Broncos, they're too talented not to go down there and beat Texans, right? Like I beat up the Texans pretty bad in our preseason predictions. I'm still going to beat him up. Somebody's saying Davis Mills is that dude right now. Like, yeah, he might be a good quarterback, but the Texans team they're playing above their head. They're not a great team. They're not an elite team in this league. They're not going to win a lot of games. They got a tie last week. Tie. That's like what, kissing your sister, Tony? Is that what they say?
I don't have a sister, so I don't know.
I think that's a pretty old phrase, Joe.
I'm going Denver. I don't like my picture on the Denver helmet over there. I don't know how you guys feel about it. It's not feeling great on me, but I think Denver. Just for the sake of this challenge, Mike, to win me a jersey on Mike's Pick'em challenge, I'm going with the Broncos.
Yeah, and I think that the Texans defense showed a lot of heart, but then we started to see later in that game against Indy. Indy had to come back from down 2 scores in the fourth quarter to get that game even to a tie. And we saw that kind of worry a little bit. Jonathan Taylor started to break loose, and Michael Pittman caught one and dove into the end zone for a touchdown. I think that the Texans defense is a tough bunch. It's probably well coached, but just the talent is not going to be there to keep up with this Denver offense if they play clean football. I think Denver had a great opening game against Seattle, and just like I said, they just failed on the goal line. That could have been a 3-touchdown victory for the Denver Broncos, and it very well should have been. I think that they take care of business here, especially at home against the Texans. This is like a fix-it week. A bunch of these teams that got upset last week are getting some easier matchups once again with a chance to fix the issues. And speaking of teams that had problems last week, let's go to Vegas, Joe, because I don't think I forgot. And I'm going to give my take first on this one because I don't even want to talk about this game very much. Everyone has been telling me that this Las Vegas Raiders team is legit, that the refs took that game away from the Raiders and the Chargers should be 0-2. They're daring to say that Khalil Mack is still washed after a 3-sack performance. So, Joe, I know you're going to get to it and you're going to say fade the Cardinals, but I'm saying take the damn Cardinals, screw the Raiders. This is a principal pick from me. It's going to come true.
I'll let Joe, you're going to go last here. Both these teams are garbage. But the team that I thought was like by far the most shockingly bad performance in week 1 was the Arizona Cardinals on the road this week going to Las Vegas. I just don't see how the Cardinals win. I don't think it's going to get any better this week. And I actually think that the Raiders kind of beat them bad. I don't want to say anything nice about the Raiders. Joe, go.
Yeah, Tony, I'm with you. I'm not going to say anything. No. Devontae Adams excited to be at his first game in Las Vegas. He said he already spent $500,000 to bring his whole family down there. The Raiders couldn't even give him a discount on a suite or something. So Devontae Adams is going to have his whole family there. Derek Carr is not going to have a repeat performance of 3 interceptions. It's not going to be there. Everybody, look, we had overreaction week 1. Now it's coming back to reality. Like you were saying, it's going to be all right, Raider fans. But the Cardinals, too many injuries for the Cardinals. They didn't look good. James Conner had a garbage touchdown at the end of the game. I told you that he wasn't going to repeat. I've been saying fade the Cardinals. I told you Cliff Kingsbury is going to be eating Thanksgiving dinner with me at home because he won't be coaching this team for much longer when the Cardinals get beat down. Raiders by 17 plus points this week. They're going to come out here from Raiders might not even need A.J. Cole this week. Let me just tell you that. A.J. Cole, if you want to sit home, you don't even have to show up because the Raiders won't even need you. They won't even punt this week. That's how bad they're going to put it down on the Cardinals.
Wait a minute. They did give the ball to the Chargers a lot last week, but they didn't have to punt very much. Let's just keep that in mind.
I'm just saying, A.J. Cole, sit at home. They won't need you.
The guy standing in the middle of the field with the football in his hand is the reason the Raiders will lose.
How did Mac do last night?
Khalil?
He had
a couple
pressures, a tackle for loss. What do you mean? How did he do last night? He was
How did
good.
you do last night?
He's on track for 40 sacks. No biggie.
I would love to see Trace McSorley enter this game. I would love to see it.
Trace McSorley's not on the team no more, I don't think. Didn't they cut him?
I thought he came in last week in relief. Who was the backup there?
I'm tripping then. He's version number 19, right?
Was it Cole?
McSorley.
I saw a post that was like, this might be Trace McSorley's last snap in the NFL because there's like news that he got cut or something. But
somebody came in the backup role. I don't know who it was. I didn't pay
attention. They ain't
attention.
gonna need their backup. Kyler's gonna have like
he played last week.
I'm sick of Kyler being Kyler. Like, dude, you're super fucking fast. You're small. Just run the damn ball. Just go. Take off. Do what you got to do. Get into field goal range. They ain't gonna score that many points on the other side. Let's go to the next game here.
Yeah, he played last week. He's still on the Cardinals.
We got speaking of fun teams to talk about, we got the Cincinnati Bengals going to Dallas to play a Dak Prescott-less Dallas Cowboys. None of us are believing in Cooper Rush too much, and the reasoning is because we've all seen Cooper Rush play football. Unfortunately, maybe we should feed Zeke this week, huh, Dallas? What are you thinking, Tony, for the breakdown for this game?
He did win the primetime game last year against who? Kirk Cousins, who is 2-9 all-time worst record for anybody who's played a minimum of 10 primetime games. So does that count for that much when you beat Kirk Cousins on primetime? He has a primetime game. We're going to be predicting that in a minute. But I think that the Bengals are one of those teams that need a get-right game. You invest all that money in the offensive line, we need to see it. They need to have a strong performance. They need to shut down D-Law and Micah Parsons and whoever else they're throwing in the mix here in the pass rush. Can you guys keep Joe Burrow upright for one game, please? Like, you can't allow 75 sacks and then start off this season where he's constantly under pressure again after you spent all that guaranteed money in the offseason. With or without T. Higgins, I think the Bengals should win this game by at least 6 points.
Yeah, I'm with you, Tony. What are you thinking, Joe?
I saw something by Dallas Cowboy fans. Come on. We them boys. Dallas Cowboys are the only team last week that didn't score a touchdown in the whole NFL. Every NFL team but the Dallas Cowboys put touchdown on the board. And then I saw something today that the Cowboy fans are saying, oh, like 20 years ago when Troy Aikman went down, or when the next Dallas great quarterback comes after every great injury. And they're like building Cooper Rush up as an elite quarterback. Like they're putting him as like he could like, and I think even what's his name, that stupid guy, Skip Bayless, came out and was talking about how Cooper Rush is one of the top quarterbacks in this league and he's going to take the league by storm. Cowboy fans, I've already seen the post. Your season's over. You're the only team eliminated after week 1. You're done. Yeah. Cowboys, you're done. Bengals had a bad game last week. Like Tony predicted it because he said the Bengals and Joe Burrow missed a lot of time in training camp. They were going to come out slow. They picked it up again in the second half of that game. Bengals are too good of a team to go out there and lose to J.C. Jackson's defense. I mean, Diggs' defense. Sorry, I got them confused because the way J.C. Jackson played last night looked like Diggs out there.
Don't even get me started, bro. Don't even get
Dallas Cowboys, they're not that team. They're not that team. I talked about how Cliff Kingsbury's gone. This is another team looking for a head coach next year.
I'm going to tell you who the leading wide receiver, who J.C. Jackson was covering, was for the Chiefs last night, other than the one catch. Next up after that was Travis Kelce with 51 yards, who's a tight end. The next guy after that was 49 yards, Mecole Hardman. 44 yards, the running back. 13 yards. Juju Smith-Schuster, who got primary coverage on J.C. Jackson last night, had 10 yards receiving. I don't want to hear this.
We're talking about the Cowboys. We're not talking about
hopefully Joe Burrow throws another 4 interceptions in this game and the Cowboys win, but I just don't think it's going to happen. So I'm going with the Bengals too. Let's go to the next one.
People actually listen to Skip Bayless?
Oh, yeah. Skip Bayless had not necessarily my backing, but maybe my respect, because I know that show, they set them up to argue. Like me and Joe used to do Friday Night Wars. And Skip Bayless would come with these arguments that were like really entertaining, and he had some kind of backing behind it. But lately, he's just going out there blind. He's not even doing notes no more. He's not even doing research. He's just like, but it's the Cowboys. I mean, I got to go with them. It's like, bro, you used to have bad points at least before to bring up. You're losing me. You're losing me. But we're going to the Sunday Night Football game, and what an honor. We're getting 2 offenses that couldn't score last week. So maybe we're going to see a defensive battle between the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers, just like you guys used to see back in the 80s, right? Aren't you guys excited about this one? Tony? Joe?
Well, the Bears have never had offense, so last week wasn't much of a change. I honestly can't remember like one explosive offense that the Bears have ever had. in my
Walter
entire
Payton, that's it.
30 years. But even then, the offense wasn't really explosive. It was one player that was. They
Yeah.
had Matt Cortez and Curtis Conways. They've had explosive players, but they've never had an explosive offense. So I am going to be cheering for the Bears. 1,000%. I'm going to be cheering for the Bears to win this football game. I just don't think that they can. And Aaron Rodgers in Lambeau in prime time, this is going to be an ugly win for them, but they're going to get the victory. They're going to pull this one out somehow. I think that we are going to see him rely on Randall Cobb a lot, like somebody that he feels very comfortable with, and also Rob Tonyan. And then A.J. Dillon is going to continue, I think, to separate himself a little bit in the running back, where it maybe starts to tilt a little 60-40 A.J. Dillon, really having him run the rock. The Bears played way better than I thought they would. And maybe I was a little harsh on them in the preseason, and Matt Eberflus deserves a little bit more credit. But the Packers are going to win this game.
Hulkamania down there. What are you thinking? Justin Fields.
Wait, Tony, who did you say that Aaron Rodgers were going to rely on?
Randall Cobb.
Randall Cobb!
Alan Lazard's back this week.
Look, I'm with you on this one, Tony. I would love to see the Bears win this game. I'm picking the Packers because I want to win a jersey. Like I said, hashtag Mike's Pick'em challenge. I want to win a jersey, and the better team would be the Packers, right? The Packers should win this game. But if the Bears can pull an upset, and we talked about how the Bears were going to be more competitive this year, we didn't think that they were going to come knock out the Niners week 1. But if they knock out the Packers week 2, there's going to be a lot of chatter over there about how great the Bears are, how good the Bears are playing. How much of that weather was a factor last week, I don't know. But Justin Fields, we've known the talent that he has, and instant replays in the chat, and he's saying Justin Fields is going to run 3 touchdowns this week and beat the Bears. I would love to see that. I would love to see it because nobody backs Justin Fields more than me. I like watching Justin Fields dominate, and nothing would be better than to see Aaron Rodgers have a losing season because he brought this on himself, Tony. He brought this on himself.
Yeah, and the funniest part would be like Micah Parsons, right? He backed out on going on Skip and Bayless's show this week because the Cowboys had an awful showing and their quarterback got hurt. They asked Micah about it, and Micah said, I just don't feel it's the place for my team and me as a leader of this team for me to be on the air coking and joking like something terrible didn't just happen to us, and we gotta nut down, we gotta nut up and buckle down, basically is what he was saying. I want to see Aaron Rodgers after losing to the Chicago Bears on the Pat McAfee show on Tuesday. That would be something. And you know that the Bears fans would be in that comment section just destroying him with the I own you stuff. But I'm with you guys. I think this is another situation where the Green Bay Packers have some time to really collect what they did last week, fix up maybe some dumb boneheaded mistakes they made, and take care of business against the Bears in front of the whole world on Sunday Night Football. It should be a close, fun game to watch, though, just because these two teams always are entertained to watch against each other. It's a good rivalry that's been going on forever. And, Joe, you must not have read the fine print. You can get all the games you want right in the fine print, and you already signed the contract. It says that if a Raiders fan wins Mike's Pick'em's challenge, he has to buy Mike a jersey instead of Mike buying them a jersey. Flipped. It's in the fine
I'll buy
print.
you a jersey. I got you a jersey.
Yeah,
I got all the Devontae Adams jerseys out of my house, all right? Don't send me any more, please.
Oh, it's going to be
go ahead, Tony.
It's going to be Daniel Carlson Jr.
Oh, yeah, I'd rock that one.
Give me 1 second, boys. I'll be right back.
All right.
So Bodo just said that's the best rivalry. He said the best thing the Bears did was to get. Oh, we can't have this graphic up when there's only 2 people. It don't look good. Better take it away because we want to see our beautiful faces, Mike. Anyways, Bodo said they got rid of Trubisky. He's a Steeler fan, no? And he's talking about Trubisky. Come on, Bodo. And then instant replays talking about Mike. If he wins the JK's jersey, he wants you to sign it, and he wants Tony to sign it.
Oh, well, then I have to order it, send it to myself, and then get Tony to sign it and me to sign it, and then send it out. But you should save the signature space because if you ever run into JK, I'm sure he would be honored to sign his first jersey.
He said he got to get your guys because you guys are 2 rising stars. I guess I'm not rising nowhere.
Yeah, fuck you, Joe. And you're
he said he would take mine if I wasn't rooting for a toilet bowl team.
Yeah, it's his allegiance.
It's all right. I'll take that. 2 Monday night games this week, guys. 2 Monday night games. Are you excited?
They're both
I
good.
don't know why they did it in week 2, but I'll take 2 Monday night games.
Yeah, I like it. I love Monday Night Football. Every week, it seems like Monday Night Football. So they don't always put like these crazy matchups together on Monday night. They just save them for Sunday and Thursday. But every week, it just seems like it's a good game of Monday Night Football. These teams always rise to the occasion. I'm expecting the same thing out of this one. The Bills are a way better team. That's why I'm taking the Bills, and I think the Bills probably run away maybe down the stretch in this game. But we have seen Derrick Henry single-handedly just wreck the Bills' defense the last couple of times these two teams have come up, and what's stopping Derrick Henry from doing it again? He had a quiet game last week, but it wasn't as quiet as people think. He still had 80 yards. He still averaged around 4 yards per carry. It's just a quiet game for his standards. He's going to explode again eventually. Maybe it'll be against Buffalo, and it'll make this a really good game. I'm taking the Bills just because across the board, I think that they're better everywhere than running back.
Yeah, for me, the Bills looked really impressive against the Rams. Now I think at home, the stadium is going to be insane for them. Record breaking tables. I don't know. That was tough for me to get out for some reason. But the Titans also, like, they're starting to stack up some questionable games where it's like, what's going on? I think they lost another one towards the end of the regular season. It's escaping my memory right now. And then there's the playoff flop. And then there's the second half flop against the Giants team where they were clearly in control of that game for a large portion of it and allowed Daniel Jones to get them back into the game, Saquon Barkley. So this feels great. I love the Bills being in primetime again. We get to see more of the Gabe Davis emergence. Embrace it, people.
Gabe Davis season. Joe,
I wish I had Gabe Davis on my fantasy team.
You mother.
Oh, I do, huh, Tony? That's right. Sniped him from Tony. I think Buffalo is riding high right now, and they're looking good. And like Tony said, there is a good chance that the Titans do show up because they played to the level of their opponents. And like you said, Mike, we've seen Derrick Henry destroy him before and go for over 200 yards and make him look bad. But then instant replay brings up a good point that the Titans also lost to the Jets. The Titans their offense hasn't been the same. They haven't had great play calling in the last couple of years. Their defense has always been a question mark. And so it makes it very hard to pick the Titans, even though that they keep continually winning games and being one of the top teams in the AFC. It's hard to pick them. It's hard to back them, and I'm not going to back them against a team that just blew out and made the defending Super Bowl champs look like a high school team last week.
Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah. They keep having like the missing link, man. It's just like this team can be strong if they just can put this together. A couple years ago, the O-line was really good in front of Henry, and they were really good, but they didn't really have the weapons. A.J. Brown hadn't developed yet, and the defense wasn't there. Then last year, they had a really good defense, good pass rush, went off on the Bengals in the playoff game, but A.J. Brown couldn't stay healthy, so they had no passing game when they needed it. Ryan Tannehill can't really carry a team. And this year, it seems like maybe it's all coming to a head. The O-line doesn't look amazing like it's been. The receivers are, Robert Woods and Treylon Burks. You got two opposites here, a super veteran that's, probably on the tail end of his career, and a brand new rookie who's trying to get it going. And the defense just isn't what it once was. They lost one of their key defensive players already. So, I'm with you guys. The Titans might have a down year this year, and I'm for that because you know what that means. Malik Willis is going to get in that game by the end of this year.
Well, I was going to tell you that in the last comments that we've had, Bodo's pulling. He wants the Steelers to put Pickett in, and then we had instant replay said, "Go ahead and get Willis in." So everybody's rooting for the rookie quarterbacks to get in now.
Well, I think it's too soon for Willis, but I think in a season where the season's lost, maybe they take a shot because that read option with Willis and Henry, if you can get that together for maybe like 2 years of more Henry, that if Henry can handle that volume for 2 more years, that's going to be hard to stop. I think Willis looks fast. And he looks bigger than I thought he looked in college.
Yes. So he does look bigger in the NFL for some reason. Maybe it's the colors, the shoulder pads, something, whatever. But I think that the Steelers and the Titans are on a similar track, a similar blueprint. But the Steelers did it better because what they did was they brought in the transitional quarterback Ryan Tannehill was the transitional quarterback, but they played it out for 3 years and wasted the prime of Derrick Henry's career. They need to leave Trubisky in for the Steelers. The Steelers are going to be a good football team this year. I don't think either way the Steelers are really a Super Bowl team with Pickett or with Trubisky. So let him just ride it out this year, and then maybe next year you move to him. But there's no reason to put Pickett into the game right now. Win some football games. You have veterans on this team, and if a couple things shake out your way, maybe by the end of the year, this defense does get healthy. Boda was saying something about he didn't know that Watt was only going to be out 6 weeks. I've read a lot of reports that 6 to 8 weeks is very optimistic for the type of rehab they're going to do. And then you guys get back TJ Watt. There it is.
Yeah, he's going to be out there. And I think that Mike Vrabel and management over in Tennessee, they have a similar opinion to you, Tony, that they took too long on this because they were like an underrated and an under-talked about contender in the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes before he ended up staying in Green Bay. There was a chance he was going to go to Tennessee.
He feels like he would fit in perfectly in Tennessee.
Yeah, and him having Derrick Henry would have made that a dual threat team that would have been really hard to stop. That would have been really hard to stop. I mean, he's got a dual threat in Green Bay over the last couple of years, and they still lose in the playoffs. But final game, Joe, this is, in my opinion, the best game of the weekend. We got the Minnesota Vikings hosting.
Minnesota Vikings.
Fly, Eagles, fly. I was saying in the preseason, I think both these defenses improved this offseason. I said that both these offenses are going to be two of the best offenses in the league this offseason, and I'm honored to see them clash on prime time this week. Tony, you're riding with the Eagles with me. What you thinking here?
Yeah, the Eagles, I watched it, and it was kind of weird. It was like impressive and ugly at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's how they're going to win a lot of games regardless of that. But I'm essentially just fading Kirk Cousins in primetime. I know that the defense looked better in week 1 and Justin Jefferson seemed to open on every play, but for whatever reason, whether it's his defense or some reason, he doesn't close out the games. So I am going to fly with the Eagles in this one and feel very good about them winning on like a last second Jake Elliott 52-yard field goal.
Joe,
did you not see the Eagles last week and who put up 35 points on this so-called Eagles defense? Huh? The Detroit Lions came out there, put 35 points up on the Eagles. What's going to stop Justin Jefferson and the great Kirk Cousins from putting up even more? The Minnesota Vikings going for a 40 spot this week. They're going to show the Eagles that they're not good, that the Minnesota Vikings are for real, and they're Super Bowl contenders. Justin Jefferson going to the house 2 more times. Dalvin Cook's going to get involved. Look, Tony, don't worry about Kirk Cousins. He's going to put on a show. You're going to be buying a Kirk Cousins jersey by the end of Monday night.
I think this might be one of the first times that I've seen a team that probably is game planning to keep a wide receiver off the field instead of keeping a quarterback off the field. That's really what's got me leaning Eagles. I think that the Eagles can do a good job at controlling the time of possession and playing good enough defense. All they got to do is make 1 or 2 plays. The offense is on the way it was against Detroit. I think they got better playmakers in the secondary to make those 1 or 2 plays on defense. I think they're going to control the time of possession. That's why I'm going with Philly. But I want to say that I'm excited for this game because I think that this game is going to separate these two teams from each other a little bit. These are my 2 wildcard teams in the NFC. And when it comes to which one I think is a legit contender, it's still up in the air in my head. And I think that it's going to get decided here. Whichever one of these 2 teams win, I'm probably going to be on their bandwagon for the rest of the season until, the Vikings choke the last half of the year. But Joe, on Monday morning, you should already, you have the whole weekend to prepare for this. Get some training from your son on how to gritty, and you should make a video of you grittying. That's what I want to see.
And then afterwards, I'm like, you like that? You like that?
MVP Kirk on prime time against the Eagles.
Thanks, Bodo, for all the support. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
YouTube keeps playing with us. So
thank you, brother.
Uh-oh. Well, it's X-rays, but we're waiting on a CT, right? That's the biggest one right now?
What?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that meme. It's the dog meme. Everyone keeps sending me that meme. It's a great meme. I'm going to post it too. Don't worry.
Joker's back. Just had a 2-liner come in. Yeah, that's it. We're done. We did the whole week.
Mike's winning this week. Coming
There
back
it
on
is.
Tony.
Let's put those standings back up there, just so I can feel how good. Just a little bit of positive energy here.
Again, guys, make sure to put your week 2 picks in. This is not just a competition between us three. This is a competition between everyone. The link is in the description. Also, make sure while you're down there looking at that, like the video and you're subscribed with notifications on. We're already past an hour. I'm about 30 minutes past my time slot. Tony, any last words? Joe?
Nope. Copy my picks, and you will be successful.
Raiders and Chargers going to have the same record at the end of week 2.
Nah.
I'm changing my
Cardinals. Take the Cardinals. You taking the Cardinals, Tony?
See red, baby. See red.
See red. Red sea. Kyler?
Yeah. Oh, you're right.
Kyler's going to say to the Raiders defense, you can't see me. See you guys next week. Make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications. And again, link in the description to join the challenge. Joe, hit that gritty one more time.
Fade the Cardinals.
Take the Cardinals.